My names are Deputy Inspector General of Police, Dr. Shehu, PSC. To talk about PRAWA, Prisoners Rehabilitation and Welfare Action, we have a very, very good rapport, good understanding, and good synergy between the police and PRAWA for many years. It is an institution that concerns primarily on respect of dignity and human rights, which the police are supposed to be part of it. And also capacity building to the police to enable them to perform effectively and efficiently in conjunction with the fundamental respect to the fundamental human rights as enshrined into the Nigerian Constitutions of 1999. It's very, very beneficial, and at the same time in building capacity and enabling the police officers to perform credibly, go out to discharge their duties. The police is an organization that deals with all kinds of human beings. When they come across a police officer, they deserve to be respected by police in ensuring not only their security and safety, but also in respecting their dignity and human rights. So in a nutshell, the training and retraining we are getting from the PRAWA is to enable us have police that will function and discharge their duties in a most standard and acceptable manner by members of the public. At this juncture, I want to say kudos. Welcome to the Nigeria Police Force online training.
You're welcome to the last module in Course 2. And in this module, we'll be looking at the introduction to national, regional, and international human rights mechanisms. I believe by now you must have been, well taught, and you must have understood very well what your role is as a police officer in terms of upholding, protecting, and fulfilling human rights. Now, the objective of this last module is to create awareness on some of the human rights mechanisms and relevant agencies for promotion and protecting human rights. Of course, Nigeria is a member of the Committee of Nations. We have some regional bodies that we belong to, and equally international bodies that Nigeria is a member of. And all of these regional bodies and international bodies have international human rights that Nigeria too must also obey. So the objective of this particular module is to create awareness on some of the human rights mechanisms and relevant agencies that will help in the promotion and protection of human rights. At the end of this course, it is expected that the police officers will be able to understand the workings of the various human rights mechanisms and agencies and encourage improved cooperation of the police towards these agencies, because as these agencies exist, if the Nigerian police is able to create some form of harmonious relationship with these agencies, it will also help them in their job. Now, as a way of introduction, several human rights promotion and protection mechanisms are operating at the national, regional, and international levels. At the national level, for example, there is the National Human Rights Commission. The National Human Rights Commission of Nigeria is a government institution established for the promotion and protection of human rights in Nigeria. I believe as a police officer, you must have known about National Human Rights Commission as the foremost institution that is that has the responsibility of ensuring the protection of human rights. And of course, you as the duty holder, your duty is to help the right holder, which is the citizen, to enjoy those human rights. So it means that the Nigerian police must have a harmonious working relationship with the National Human Rights Commission. The National Human Rights Commission was established by the National Human Rights Commission Act of 1995 as amended by the NHRC Act of 2010. The Commission serves as an extrajudicial mechanism for enhancement of the enjoyment of human rights. Extrajudicial means that they help the judicial arm of government to be able to enhance the enjoyment of human rights. Now, the National Human Rights Commission Amendment Act of 2010 has conferred on the Commission additional independence and strengthened the Commission's powers with respect to promotion of human rights, investigation of alleged violations of human rights, and enforcement of decisions. Now, the National Human Rights Commission sometimes even investigates you, the police officer, because most times the citizens go to National Human Rights Commission to lay some complaints about your work as a police officer. So if you don't want to run into trouble or have some petition written against you, it means that you must endeavor in the discharge of your duties to ensure that you respect and promote human rights. Now, Section 5 provides for the functions of the Commission. The Section 5 says, Section 5 subsection A deals with all matters relating to the promotion and protection of human rights guaranteed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the United Nations Charter, and the Universal Declaration on Human Rights, the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights, the International Convention on Elimination of all forms of racial discrimination, the International Convention on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. All of these international treaties, all get towards ensuring that human rights are always enhanced, protected, and promoted. Now, the National Human Rights Commission, their primary assignment is to ensure that all of these rights, both national, the one that is guaranteed by our Constitution, and the ones that we enter to by the treaties we signed as Nigeria, are all maintained and protected at the same time. Now, Section B deals with monitoring and investigation all alleged cases of human rights violation in Nigeria and make appropriate recommendation to the federal government for the promotion and protection and other actions as it may deem expedient in each circumstance. Now, their duty is to investigate cases of human rights. When they investigate, they make their recommendations to the federal government, who will now act on the basis of their recommendation, to ensure that cases of human rights violations are addressed. Part of their duties also is to assist victims of human rights violation and seek appropriate redress and remedies on their behalf. Now, the importance of this is that as a police officer, knowing that there is a National Human Rights Commission, it is also part of your responsibility. When you see that some citizens' rights are being violated, you tell the citizen, go and report to National Human Rights Commission. They will be able to help you. Part of their duties also is to undertake studies on matters pertaining to human rights and assist the federal government, the state government, and the local governments where it considers appropriate to do so in formulation of appropriate policies that guarantees human rights. That's also part of their duties. Now, they carry out research. They look at policies. They look at the violations that citizens are experiencing as regards their human rights, and they make recommendations to government and say, look, this area is not so well. Can we amend this policy of government because this particular policy doesn't favor vulnerable people, or this particular policy doesn't favor the disabled? So it is their duty to do research and recommend to government where necessary to be able to make some amendments. It's also part of their duty to publish and submit from time to time to the President, the National Assembly, the judiciary, the state and local governments, to submit reports on the state of human rights promotion and protection in Nigeria. In fact, there is a National Human Rights Statistics or survey that is carried out every year by the National Human Rights Commission. In that survey, what they do is to carry out investigation into human rights ability in Nigeria, state by state, and of course, when they present their report, we'll be able to see if human rights are being enhanced or if human rights are being stifled. Part of their duty also is to organize local and international seminars, workshops, and conferences on national human rights issues for public enlightenment. In terms of awareness sensitization, telling citizens what they are supposed to enjoy as part of their human rights. This is also the responsibility of the National Human Rights Commission. Part of their duty also includes to receive and investigate complaints concerning violations of human rights and make appropriate determination as may be deemed necessary in each circumstance. When they receive complaints from citizens, they investigate those complaints on their basis, and of course, if there are valid cases of human rights violations, they can now make recommendations to appropriate agencies of government to seek redress and to ensure that human rights are protected. The last duty that they are supposed to carry out is to examine any existing legislation, administrative provisions, that runs contrary to human rights norms. If there is any legislation of government, if there is any policy of government that doesn't enhance human rights, it is their duty to recommend to government to amend those sections of legislation or to change those policies. Of course, they also undertake research and education programs and such other programs for promoting and protecting human rights. And they coordinate any other activity that also, pushes human rights forward. Now, we'll look at Section 6 of the National Human Rights Commission. Section 6 provides for the powers of the Commission. Subsection 1 of that section says that the Commission shall have powers to conduct its investigations and inquiries in such manners as it deems appropriate. Number 2 says that they should institute any civil action on any matter it deems fit in relation to the exercise of its functions under this act. What it means is that if they are able to establish any act of human rights violation that they are not comfortable with, they have the powers to institute court actions against you in court in order to ensure that human rights are protected. So in the discharge of your duties at the Nigerian Police Force, it is their responsibility to watch what you are doing. And if in the discharge of your duties you violate human rights, the National Human Rights Commission is there as the watchdog to see what you are doing. And where necessary, they can recommend sanctions against you, or they can even take legal actions against you. So it is very, very important for you to understand why human rights is critical. Of course, also, in this section, they also have the powers to appoint any person, whether or not such a person is in public service, to act as an interpreter in any matter brought before it, and to translate any such book, paper, or writings produced to it. What it means is that they also have the right to employ the services of, say, consultants to help them interpret the law and say, okay, look at this particular incident. Does it in any way run contrary to what is provided in the human rights law? Does it in any way run contrary to the provisions of international human rights or regional human rights treaties? If it doesn't run contrary to it, okay, they can keep it aside. But if there is any basis for them to say, this thing is actually violating human rights treaties or what we are supposed to be doing in terms of promoting human rights, they can now advise, ways that the Commission can, the thing that the Commission can do in order to enhance and promote human rights. In this section also, it is also their duty to cooperate with and consult with other agencies and organizations, governmental and non-governmental organizations, as it may deem appropriate. As PRAWA is now, the National Human Rights Commission can liaise with PRAWA, can liaise with other government or non-governmental organizations that are also in the vanguard of promoting human rights. Of course, such partnership help them in doing their duties in ensuring that human rights are always protected. Thank you.